This is the anthem. Here's what you came for. This is the moment magic was made for. Come on, let's light up the sky now. You feel the magic happening right now.
Hello there. Welcome back to Fairytales.
Take a ride with us on the Hogwarts Express.
Walk down Main Street with our best super pals.
And defy gravity as we talk about all things fandom.
Hello and welcome back to Fairytales, a member of the Real Fans Podcast Network. I'm Emma.
And I'm Gabby, and today we're going to talk about the Disney tales versus the original tales. So we're going to compare and contrast and kind of just chat about the original, chat about the new one, what they changed, what they kept.
Yeah, and we're specifically doing the princesses.
Yeah, specifically the princess franchise.
Princess franchise plus Frozen, because as we all know, Frozen's not part of it because they make more money than the Princess franchise alone.
Because they outrank the Princess franchise on their own.
Yeah.
So the only thing is that, we're going to cover all of them, except for we couldn't find information for Merida or Moana, a story that they were based off specifically. Mm-hmm. Both of them were, original tales, but based off of kind of, local legends and, the people and, just kind of...
Moana.
Yeah, especially Moana was based off of, Polynesian people, and, Merida's story and, the Wisps is, definitely, a myth in Scotland, but it's not, Merida herself or, Mordu the bear, that wasn't, part of it. It's, people
and,
see,
Maui
the Wisps.
Was true to Polynesian mythology.
Yeah, Maui is, and,
and
Takan and
Takan, all of them.
Yeah. They were, based off of, mythology, but, the story of Moana herself, not really. It was based off of a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And we put them in, chronological order of, when Disney film came out.
Yes.
So, shall we start with our first princess?
Yeah.
So, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, which is based on... the one that we found was Brothers Grimm, which was from 1812. Same name, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah, and Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs came out in 1927.
Yes.
27?
I think
36.
so. I know that...
No, I can't remember.
I know that Disney, messed up dates on some of their Disney 100 signs that they have at Disneyland of, dates of, when things came out. And people have been...
I was way off. I was off by 10 years. 37, not 27.
We're doing great already.
Hey, I knew it ended in a 7.
Hey, there you go. But I think the Disney sign I saw said 1927 that they accidentally put up for the Disney 100 and not 37 for Snow White. I know that they got Snow White.
I think you're right. I think I saw a lot of things being advertised as 27, and I was like, that's not right.
Yeah, that was a fun thing that they did for the Disney 100 celebration that's only in Disneyland for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to Snow White. Oh.
Yeah, we were right. It is Cinderella then Sleeping Beauty. Cinderella's 50, Sleeping Beauty's 59.
Okay. So, let's get back to Snow White. So, since the beginning, Disney borrowed tales from Brothers Grimm. You'll see that trend as we go along through the princesses. Mm-hmm. And it is based on the 1812 fairy tale, Snow White, and they kept most of the defining elements of the original story, but made some significant changes. In the original tale, Snow White is younger and doesn't meet the prince before she's given the apple, and the hunter brings back to the queen the lungs and liver of an animal, as opposed to a heart, which the queen then eats. Yeah. Snow White
I
doesn't...
think that's a little morbid to put in a kids movie, and then an animated movie, so, like...
Especially because she thinks that it's Snow White.
Yeah, I think good call, Disney, cutting that part out.
Yeah.
Good call.
Yeah. But Snow White doesn't get awoken after being kissed by the prince. Instead, the prince takes her to his father's castle to give her a proper resting place. But while she's being transported, one of the servants trips and loses his balance, dislodging a piece of poisoned apple from Snow White's throat, thus reviving her.
I hate that! I hate that so much!
Yeah, it's creepy.
I actually hate that. That's awful. The whole thing. All of it.
Yeah. The prince then proposes to her and she accepts, and the queen later learns that there's still some fairer than her, who is now the prince's bride, and visits the wedding to investigate. Once there and recognized by Snow White, the prince orders the queen to wear a pair of red-hot iron slippers and to dance in them until she drops dead.
That is also very morbid.
Yeah.
Although the dwarves pushing her off a cliff is pretty morbid
Yeah,
too. So.
and also, like, notice how the dwarves aren't, like, in this at all.
At all?
Where are they? Come on, buds.
They must be like a different Brothers Grimm story that they just combined.
No, because I've read it. The OG Brothers Grimm, and they were in it, but they weren't even named. Like, Disney gave them the names.
This is true. Disney did give them the names and their little personalities and made them a much more prominent part of the story.
Yeah.
I do remember watching like a documentary about that.
Yeah. But
they also added Dopey.
Yeah.
That like he was like never a part of it. He was just like a regular dwarf before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember, and it was like almost like the festival in Into the Woods, where like she came like 3 different times and tried 3 different things to kill Snow White before settling on the apple.
Huh.
She tried like
I mean,
a corset or something else too.
okay, facts though. Corsets. Painful.
Yeah.
I do remember, like, she kind of does in the Disney tale. She does it twice. I mean, she has the hunter do it, and then she goes and does it.
But I'm talking about her going 3 times.
Yeah.
Besides the hunter.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah. I mean,
Anyway.
yeah.
Really dark story.
Yeah.
Really, really, really sad.
Yeah, I mean, the next one isn't too much better on the Brothers Grimm side. I mean, we have 2 different stories that, like, she's based on, but...
Yeah, but also, we kind of are already prepped for the Cinderella one because of Into the Woods. Yeah.
At least on the Brothers Grimm side.
Yeah. So, like, getting into it, so Cinderella came out in 1950 from Disney, and it's based off of the story The Little Glass Slipper.
Yes.
At least as far as Brothers Grimm. There's also the original tale, which is Cinderella by Charles Perrault. I'm going to go with Perrault because he's French.
I was about to say, I think he's French, which is why she's at Epcot. Or France at Epcot.
Yeah. And the original story in French is French people don't come for me, or people who speak French, is Cinderon ou la petite pantoufle de verre, which I'm pretty sure means Cinderella in the little glass shoe.
Yep. It literally says
Hey!
the little glass slipper, so it's probably Cinderella and the little glass slipper.
Hey!
There you go.
Yeah. So, yeah, Perrault's story goes pretty much like Disney's version, only she goes to 2 balls instead of 1. And the second one is where she loses her glass slipper, similar to Into the Woods. And when it's revealed she's the girl from the ball, her stepfamily pleads for forgiveness and she agrees.
Yes.
Which is a lot nicer ending than the Brothers Grimm one where their eyes are pecked out.
Yes.
So, there is the other version, right, Brothers Grimm, which is... as expected, it's pretty dark. So Brothers Grimm made a lot of changes, such as having golden slippers rather than glass slippers.
Which we see in Into
but
the
the biggest
Woods.
one, yeah, right. But the biggest one is, like I said, Cinderella's doves pluck her stepsister's eyes out as punishment for what they did to her by, also trying to get into the slipper. One sister cuts off her toe.
Yes.
The other one cuts off her heel.
Yes.
And then the one who cuts off her heel actually gets away with it. And it's not until he realizes that the blood is dripping down her foot that they turn around and take her back and are like, this isn't right. And then she, like, passes out from blood loss, and then her eyes get picked out by birds. So, like...
Not a great ending for her.
I mean, like, honestly, that's what she gets.
Yeah.
She deserves exactly what was coming to her.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Also, like, if you've ever seen Into the Woods, it's basically the same.
Yeah. So our next princess is Miss Sleeping Beauty, Miss Aurora herself, which is also based on 2 different fairy tales that I could find.
Interesting.
Yeah. She came out in 1959, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So the first one is also by Charles Perrault, which is based on a classic fairy tale by an unknown author. So in his version, there are 7 fairies, including an evil one, instead of 3, and the princess isn't forced to leave the castle after she's cursed. 100 years pass before a prince spies the castle, hidden among trees, brambles, and thorns, and once inside the princess's chambers, he's struck by her beauty and breaks the enchantment with a kiss. The princess and the rest of the castle awaken, and she later marries the prince. The 2 have children who they keep secret from the prince's mother, who is of ogre lineage. What?
What is this, Shrek? This is the origin story of Shrek.
Yes. What the hell?
Like, one of these kids is going to become Shrek.
Yes. When it's time to meet her, the ogre's queen mother orders the cook to prepare the children and young queen for dinner. But the kind-hearted cook replaces them with lamb, goat, and deer. The ogress learns this and prepares a tub with vipers and other creatures, but once the king returns and the ogress nature is exposed, she throws herself into the tub, and the king and young queen are finally able to live happily ever after. What?
What?
Shall we move over to the... I do not know how to pronounce this name.
Good luck!
But this is the earlier, another version of the story, which is by Giambattista Basile? Sure.
That would have been my guess, so...
In it kind of starts off the same. Pricks her finger by a spinning wheel, all that stuff. But the princess is discovered by a wandering king who... Can we even say this?
I don't think we should.
Who gets her pregnant.
Yeah.
There we go.
Without consent.
Without consent.
Yeah.
The princess gives birth
and
to...
she was still unconscious when it happened.
Yeah.
Yikes. That's major yikes.
The princess gives birth to the twins, one of which who sucks the splinter from her finger, waking her up.
I have heard of this one.
Yes.
I remember hearing that, and I was like, that's a long shot.
Yes.
But, okay.
The king's wife, upon learning about the princess and the children, orders them to be cooked, but the cook saves them. So, like, neither one were really kid-friendly, and they just both got rid of let's cook the princess/ogre part of the story.
I was just gonna say, what the hell is it with both of these stories and trying to cook this girl and her kids?
I don't know.
What the heck?
Oh, dear Lord.
Yeah, I like, and they lived happily ever after. The end. That's it. No cooking.
Yes.
Jesus Christ.
Yes.
Okay. Well, moving
So,
on to one that's
shall
also
we
pretty
move
sad.
over to Denmark, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This one's also pretty sad, but it's The Little Mermaid, which came out in 1989, and The Little Mermaid was a sorry. So The Little Mermaid was written by Hans Christian Andersen, and the title was the same. It was The Little Mermaid. But it's vastly different. It is like extremely different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, the idea is kind of the same. Like, the inciting incident is the same, and everything from there is completely different.
Yes.
So, everything before it and everything after it is different, but the main idea is kind of the same. So, the movie follows, right? The movie follows Ariel, falls in love with the prince, Eric, and then she asks Ursula to give her legs, and then she does, and Ursula's really nice because they made her match. She could have given her, like, freaking chicken legs.
I know, right?
She gave her, like, nice human legs that matched her skin tone. Like, okay. So, anyway.
Also, in the original one, none of them are really named.
No. It's like
No.
the Little Mermaid, the witch, the prince.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, in the original fairy tale, the mermaid is warned by the witch that she will never be able to return to the sea. And while she will be able to dance and walk, she will constantly feel as if she's walking on sharp knives and bleed constantly. And in addition to not talking, as the Little Mermaid has to give her her tongue and her voice.
Yeah.
So she, like, cuts her tongue off, gives her her voice, and every time she takes a step, she feels like she's walking on glass and knives.
Yeah.
Fun, right?
Yeah.
That's the only thing that's similar, is that the witch actually gives her legs. That's it. So the mermaid will also obtain a soul if she gets the prince to love her and marry her. Again, very similar, kind of. But if she doesn't achieve that, she will die of a broken heart and turn into sea foam. The prince ends up marrying another princess, and the mermaid's sisters bring her a dagger from the witch, given to them in exchange for their hair.
Yeah.
So now they're all freaking bald, bringing their one sister a dagger so she can stab herself. Yeah, so she kills the prince.
Yeah.
And it, like, goes all over her feet, and then she becomes a mermaid again.
Yeah.
That's the idea. That's the idea. So, like, she doesn't actually do that. That's like what she's supposed to do.
Yes.
She doesn't. She doesn't want to kill the prince. She's like, but I love him. And so, as, like, the sun is rising, she throws the dagger and herself into the water, and she turns into sea foam. But also a daughter of the air, who, after doing good deeds, finally, like, raises up to heaven after 300 years. Like, the ending is so just like, what?
Yeah. I don't know.
It's
A lot of these are wild.
It's wild. It's wild, man.
The next one doesn't really change much, except for the addition of a, like, new villain.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
Can we just take a second to be like, hold on, she turns into sea foam, but then she can, like, go up to heaven after 300 years after doing good deeds? How can you do good deeds when you're freaking foam? Like, what? What do you do?
I don't
like,
know.
return people their keys that they dropped in the ocean?
I don't know. Also,
I don't know.
fun fact with Hans Christian Andersen, his name inspired 4 Frozen characters' names.
And we'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there. We're not at Frozen yet.
True.
He also wrote Frozen's story, too.
Yeah, that's right. I kind of forgot about that.
Yeah. So, save that one, because I know that fact, and it's a good one.
Yeah. So the next one is My Princess, Miss Belle, which Beauty and the Beast is based on the fairy tale of the same name by Jean-Marie Le Prince de Beaumont, who actually shortened and rewrote the story by Gabrielle Suzanne Barbeau de Villeneuve.
Yeah, I think so. Villeneuve? I don't know.
I don't know.
It's
But,
French. We don't speak French.
yeah. In Beaumont's version, Belle has 5 siblings, and when she arrives at the Beast Castle, she is informed that she is a mistress there, so the Beast will obey her. She returns home for a week, and her sisters plan to keep her there for longer in order to anger the Beast and have him eat Belle. She later returns to the castle and finds him dying, so she restores him to life. There are live objects around the castle, though not exactly as cheerful and helpful as those in the Disney tale, and Belle is also kind, well-read, and pure of heart. So really, they take the 5 sisters and make
put
it
them all into Gaston.
Yes.
Hold on, but why would you want the Beast to eat your sister?
I think they were jealous of her because she was still the prettiest one in town. Her name was still Beauty.
Wait, hold on. We didn't say what year this movie came out.
It's like 91, right?
Yeah, 1991. Yeah, so that one is weird.
Yeah.
Also, like, in the books, they never kind of specify what the Beast looks like. They just say he's, like, a monster.
Yeah.
And then, like, in the Disney movie, they actually, like...
Made him.
Like...
Yeah, because I'm sure, this story probably came out, right, like, with... I don't even know when, but let's just say, like, around the time
1800s?
Yeah, like, around the time of Phantom of the Opera was what I was going to say by whoever wrote that. Also France.
Yeah.
So I could see them both being, like, the same type of monster.
Yeah.
Where it's not, like an actual monster, but it's...
like a person who's just ugly.
Yeah.
Or, like, massively scarred.
Yeah.
Which I was always like, how is that a monster? I mean, 1800s logic, right?
Yeah.
But, like, still a person, man. Mm-hmm. They're not, just because they don't look the same, you know.
It's the same thing as Quasimodo, another French story.
I know. See? What is it with the French people? They're like, everybody must be beautiful, or else we call you a monster.
Yeah, because Hunchback was by Victor Hugo.
Yeah.
I don't know who wrote Phantom. But, like, think about a lot of the monsters from, like, the 1800s time. Like, we get Frankenstein's monsters. They're all just, like, deformed.
Yeah, Frankenstein, Dracula, the werewolf.
So, Phantom of the Opera, the book, was published in 1909, and it was by author Gaston Leroux.
Maybe that's why they made Gaston's name in Beauty and the Beast Gaston.
Maybe.
Probably not, but...
Yeah. I'm sorry, I'm reading his, like, history behind the novel that came up as soon as I typed in Phantom of the Opera. And he was originally going to be a lawyer, but after spending his inheritance gambling, he became a reporter.
That's, like, backwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
So shall we move on to the first diverse princess on our list?
Woohoo! My girl, Jasmine!
Yeah, which came out in
1992, Aladdin. Which, like, why is it named after him? Just saying. No, we know why it is. It's because this movie was actually more targeted towards, like, the male audience. And they wanted to have, like, a fun boy character.
And also, in the OG tale, his name was Aladdin. They changed Jasmine's name from the OG tale.
Yeah, it was Princess Bad Rulbador before.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, look, you wrote that in!
Yeah. I thought you read it from the notes.
Oh, no, I knew that one. Okay, so, like, there's a musical called Disenchanted, not the movie.
About that. Yes.
And they can't use Princess Jasmine in that one because it's Disney copyrighted. So they call her Princess Bad Rulebador in the other one because it's not copyrighted anymore because it's public domain.
Yeah.
The original story.
Yeah. And something
not Disney's.
else I find interesting is that the original text that Aladdin came from is from the Book of 1001 Nights. And if you know Twisted by Star Kid, the main like love song is called 1001 Nights.
Yes.
And she's
Also,
Sherazade, who is believed to have written the story.
Yeah. Also, two things. In high school, my school did a reading of 1001 Nights, and it was like a 24-hour thing. So they were up for 24 hours, like from a Friday night to a Saturday night, reading the whole thing. It's like something like 1,000 pages. It's enormous.
I believe it.
No, it's an enormous book. It literally took them all of the 24 hours minus like a handful of breaks to do it. Also,
I wonder what other stories are in it.
I have no idea. Anyway, I'm going to get into this because this is going to take me too long. I was also going to say, I also have my mom and I have a friend and her name is Shahrazad.
Ooh.
Yeah. She's very nice. And I love her name. It makes me like, ugh, it's so pretty. So pretty.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Aladdin, right? Folktale, like we already said, it wasn't actually a part of the Book of 1001 Nights or Arabian Nights, but it is often associated with it, and the tale is varied with every retelling. But the story is in general, right? The gist of it is it's an impoverished young ne'er-do-well named Aladdin in a city of China.
Yeah. In the original one, it was China.
Okay, well, they made it in Agrabah, which is, like, supposed to be, like, if the Middle East and, like...
So, I'm looking up the 1001 Nights on Wikipedia right now. I'm not obviously going to be able to... Oh, wait, this is probably why. Alibaba and the 40 Thieves is, like, one of the main stories.
Yes.
But it's Middle Eastern folk tales compiled in Arabic during the Islamic Golden Age.
Yes. But the Disney one is, like, a mix of, like, Muslim culture and Indian culture and...
what I'm reading
like,
is
Middle Eastern
the tales, their roots back, have been traced... The tales in the thing their roots have been traced back to ancient and medieval Arabic, Egyptian, Persian, and Mesopotamian literature.
Yeah. But Disney's takes place in the mythical land of Agrabah, which is if India and the Middle East had, like, a baby. That's where it would be. Like, right between India and the Middle East.
Yeah.
Yeah. So... also, very much inspired, like, you can really tell the Indian influence in the new one. Okay,
so this is when Aladdin was put in, is when they translated it into English. They put in the story of Aladdin's Wonderful Lamp and Alibaba and the 40 Thieves, so even that was not in the original one.
Got it. So...
there we go. History lesson.
There we go. So Aladdin is recruited by a sorcerer, in this case Jafar, who wants to help him retrieve an oil lamp from a magic cave. Aladdin is double-crossed by the sorcerer, but as he's wearing the latter's magic ring, he rubs it and releases a genie who helps him out of the cave. The lamp consists of a second, more powerful genie released by Aladdin's mother when cleaning it. What?
So, this is going to go into a little bit of that cautionary tales book that I got from Mr. Ridley Pearson back in October.
Uh-huh.
He uses this storyline in that book. Aladdin's mother was pregnant with him, and she goes into the cave and, like, rubs a lamp. And then, like, that night, she ends up having Aladdin.
So it's a little different.
It's a little different.
Similar.
But, like, similar.
Yeah. So it's the second genie, actually, that helps him become rich so that way he can marry Princess Badroulbadour. I mean, I've already said it a handful of times. It makes sense why they were like, let's just change it to Jasmine.
Yeah, can you imagine, like, a 3-year-old trying to say...
Princess Badroulbadour? Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm not even going to try to say it.
Yeah.
Jasmine's much easier.
Jasmine's much easier. Also, I have to wonder if they named her after the rice.
I don't know.
I have to wonder if they were like, Jasmine Rice. That's from that area. Jasmine, that's her name. Because I have to wonder.
The only other thing I could think of is, like, she was associated with Jasmine in the book, like, once.
Oh, maybe.
Like...
That's a lot nicer.
That's the only
That gives him a lot more credit than my theory.
I mean, it's probably wrong, but still.
I mean, mine's definitely wrong. I mean, shit, for, like, if they went with my idea, they should have named her freaking Couscous, like.
Really, yeah, like, well, I only got that idea because of, and this is going to Narnia, Lily Andel, who is the character I love, she's never named in the books. She's only referred to as Ramadu's daughter or Caspian's wife when she marries him later. The filmmakers made her name Lily Andel because she's associated with the Sea of Lilies.
Makes sense.
Which is why I was like, maybe they did it like that, where she's associated with Jasmine in the
I think let's just go with that one because it's a lot nicer than my thoughts.
True.
So, a conflict arises between the sorcerer and Aladdin, each now with a genie, but Aladdin eventually defeats him and later becomes a sultan. The princess doesn't have really much of a presence at all. She's just there to be married. And Disney gave her a bigger role and better development, and even a bigger role and even better development in the second time they did it.
Yeah, I like the second time.
Yeah, I like the second one a lot. The dancing is fantastic.
Yeah.
Also,
sorry, I was reading my next one besides the next one we're about to get to, but after you do Mulan, who my next one is, and there's something funny about what her name was in the original tale with me reading it.
We'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah. Last thing I want to say.
Oh.
Sorry, really quick. Last thing. Oh my gosh, freaking what's her name? Naomi Scott and Mina Masood are 10 out of 10 in that movie. Same with Will Smith, perfectly cast. I think that movie was amazing. 10 out of 10.
That is probably one of my favorite of the live action remakes, if not my favorite.
Agreed. Definitely my favorite.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So the next one isn't even like really based on a tale. It's based on history. And that being Pocahontas, which when did the movie came out?
I'm looking because I skipped it.
94?
95.
95. Okay. You're off. I was trying to think of Lion King because I know that it was like A team and B team, and everyone that was on the A team was working on Pocahontas because they thought that that was going to be the banger. And then Lion King ended up being the banger of this time.
And everybody was like, damn it.
Yeah.
But Pocahontas is so pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so pretty.
But her story, of course, is based on Matoka, who is known as Pocahontas, who was of the Powhatan tribe. And according to John Smith, Pocahontas threw herself across his body to protect him from being killed by her people, but there's no actual proof of that we can find. Mm-hmm. However, what we do know is that she was kidnapped by colonists to be ransomed for the English prisoners held by her father. She was then encouraged to convert to Christianity and marry tobacco planter John Rolfe, who is in the sequel, at the age of 17 to 18, and they had a son, Thomas Rolfe. She was presented to English society as an example of the, quote, civilized savage, end quote, and died of unknown causes at age of 20 to 21.
Probably influenza.
Yeah.
Or like mumps or measles or, you know, one of those old versions of diseases they had.
Especially like going from North America to Europe to live there forever. Yeah.
It's freaking cold in Europe.
Yeah. But of course, like, Disney used her story, like, even though, like, nothing is true to the real history.
Yeah. I think they used it more for the name than anything else. I think, here's the thing though. I think they used just as much of the real story as they did from all the other ones.
Yeah.
The only difference is this one's history and the other ones are fairy tales. So it's like, where do we draw the line?
Especially because like when John Smith was in his 40s when he got to the Americas, and she was 12 when he landed here.
Yeah. I mean, they aged him down 12 years. They aged her up 12 years.
Yeah.
But like,
because she's 17 in the Disney film,
and he's supposed to be like 22 or something like that. So, like, I don't know.
I want Disney to make something true to native mythology.
Here's the thing, at least for me, after watching Pocahontas, I loved Pocahontas as a kid.
Yeah.
After watching it, it inspired me to actually go and read her real story.
Same.
You know? So it's like, yes, they did what they did with it, but also for me as a young girl being like, oh my gosh, now I want to learn her real story, and actually reading about it, I was like, oh shoot, the movie's not really accurate. Yeah. She was a pretty cool person though. Yeah. And like I did like countless reports on her, and like I did as many reports as I possibly could on her in middle school and elementary school. Yeah. But like
I did a couple of them too about her.
Yeah, so like
but still I would like for Disney to make something based on native stories now.
But I don't want it to be like, I don't want them to tell this story again.
No, I don't want them to tell Pocahontas' story. What I want them to do is like have native consultants and come up with a story like Moana, where they use different mythologies in it.
I think a really good movie that kind of exhibits that same idea is Brother Bear.
Yeah. What tribe is it with Brother Bear?
I don't know, and I don't want to guess just in case I'm wrong. But I think Brother Bear is a very good example of how to tell a Native American story through like a fantasy fairy tale lens, but it's still staying true to like the culture and the people and like their traditions and their story, at least to a degree, you know, at least to like an acceptable degree where like Native people were like, yeah, this is good.
So according to the quick Google search I did, it's the Inuit tribe.
Okay, that's exactly what I thought it was, but I didn't want to guess and be wrong.
Yeah.
Because, it's supposed to take place in, like, Northern America, Lower Canada area.
Like, Canada at Epcot. I go off of where they are based on where they are in Epcot. For the most part.
I mean, like, my understanding is that, like, they kind of traveled between Montana and Canada.
Yeah.
Right? Those two border each other, right?
I think so.
Right?
I don't know.
Oh, my God. People are going to be like, no, it's North Dakota. I'm going to be like, I don't know.
So I'm looking at a map. Oh, that is not a map. That is... It went to the map and then went hot no.
Rude.
So... Right now, as of like the late 2010s to now, they're in Greenland, Denmark, Canada, and United States, primarily Alaska.
There you go. Okay, so between Alaska and Canada.
Yeah.
Makes a lot more sense in Montana.
Mostly like Quebec area.
Makes sense. So there you go. But I think that's a very good way to do it.
I agree.
And Brother Bear is such an underrated movie. I know I said this on the Real Fans episode, or the Disorder episode, but I'm going to say it again. I think it is so underrated. I freaking love that movie. I could watch it 100 times. I don't think it gets enough hype.
I love that movie.
I think we need to see... I have a
picture of me with...
Oh, shit. What's his name?
One of the characters. Because they used
Kovu?
to have the
Is that
bears.
his name?
Who? What?
I think his name's I think it's Kovu and Kenai.
Yeah, it's Kovu and Kenai. Kenai's the adult one, and Kovu's the kid.
Yeah.
Also, the music for that film is so good.
Phil Collins again.
Yeah.
Coda and Kenai.
Okay.
And then the other two brothers are Sitka and Denahi.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
But you know what I mean? I would
the
like
tribe
for
leader
like a
woman.
different tribe.
Yeah.
Mythology.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially
But Phil
now.
Collins has to do the soundtrack again.
Yes.
No, we have to have Phil Collins.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to see more, even if it is like almost like an animated TV series where they do different, like, let's follow a princess kind of thing. Or like
That'd be
short
cool.
stories with different tribes kind of histories.
I like that. That'd be cool.
Yeah.
So we're gonna. I think. Do you feel like you've said all you want to say about this
Yeah.
one? Okay. Because
I'm
this
sorry.
one is. No. I ranted too. We both did.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that we got all of our thoughts out because this one's like Pocahontas. We love her, and the movie is gorgeous.
Yes.
But I don't think you can say that it's based off of. You can't say that it's based off history in the slightest.
No.
They used her for her name, and that's about it. The idea of it.
What, of Mulan as well?
No, for Pocahontas.
Oh, Pocahontas.
No, actually, from what I've heard, Mulan's actually pretty accurate.
Yeah.
like-
And the more recent one that came out during the pandemic is actually
Is the most accurate.
it's the most accurate. So.
Yeah, and it's the most accurate, and it's like according to the Chinese legend that's been changed and adapted, changed and rewritten and slightly adjusted over the however many thousand years. So Mulan the movie came out in 1998, and it is based on the Chinese legend of Hua Mulan, and there are many versions, like I just said, it's been shifted and changed, it started off
tradition.
as... Yeah. It started off as just a story people told, and as people tell stories, they change and they alter, as people remember them differently and blah blah blah. So they all have the same basic premise, which is of a young woman who disguises herself as a man to take her father's place in the army, fighting the Huns. That's always part of it. It's fighting the Huns.
Yes.
And Mulan spends 12 years in the army and turns down an official post, instead asking for a camel to carry her home. However, in Chu Renhuo's version, titled The Romance of Sui and Tong, Mulan returns to her homeland only to find that her father had died and her mother remarried, and the Khan had summoned her to become his concubine. Ah!
Yeah.
So Mulan then kills herself and leaves a letter to her fiancé. It's like, I love you, but I'm dying. I'm dead. Bye.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a concubine, so bye.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Yikes.
But yeah, Mulan is the first real badass that we see. I mean, Pocahontas quite a bit, but I feel like Mulan was the first one where it was the pinpoint of her story was that she was fighting these people and doing a good thing for her dad, and the romance was on the back burner.
Yeah.
Also, we get the gift that is Mushu in this movie, so
True.
also cricket.
I love cricket. Have you seen that
cricket.
one video? I will have to send it to you if you haven't. It's these kids in some town in China, and they performed the Honor to Us All thing. And it is the cutest thing. Like, they fully reenacted every scene from it, like, perfectly. And there was a little girl who was the grandma, and it's the cutest thing.
I am dead.
They're
No, my
like
favorite.
8 to 10.
Oh my god, please send this to me. We're going to link this.
Yes. So the next one, it came out in 2010, I believe.
Yes, it did.
Yes. Is Princess and the Frog, which we've talked about a lot recently on the channel on the podcast.
2009, I'm sorry.
2009. I know it was like 2 or 3 years before Tangled.
Yeah.
Because Tangled
was
is 2012.
2010.
Oh, 2010.
Tangled's 2010. One right after the other.
Okay. I thought it was 2010, 2012, not...
Merida's 2012.
That's fine. So, Miss Tiana and the Princess and the Frog is loosely based on the novel The Frog Princess by E.D. Baker, which in turn is based on the fairy tale The Frog Prince by the Brothers Grimm. Another mention of the Brothers Grimm, because they wrote everything. They even wrote, like, Pinocchio.
They did. They wrote everything.
Yes.
The first, 30 Disney movies are Brothers Grimm.
All based on Brothers Grimm.
Anything from before, 1960.
Well, everything... When did The First Lady and the Tramp come out? Because I know that was original.
Late 50s.
Okay.
Maybe early 60s.
Okay. So, the movie is nothing like the original novel and only takes the concept of a female protagonist who kisses a prince turned into a frog with the intention of reversing the spell.
Lady and the Tramp is 55, sorry.
Okay. But in the film, of course, the princess also turns the female protagonist also turns into a frog herself.
Yep.
In the novel, however, the lead character is Princess Emma, niece of Gracina, I'm gonna guess is her name.
That seems close. That's what I would have guessed.
What else would it be? Gracina?
Grassina?
Sure.
I don't know.
Gracina
sounds better. Gracina actually sounds like a name. Grassina sounds just like a sad grass substitute.
Yes. The current Green Witch. After a lot of trouble to find the witch who cursed the prince, whose name is Edric, Gracina helps them retrieve Emma's curse reversal bracelet, which was stolen by an otter.
What?
And the two... Wait, what? And the two kiss in order to break the curse. I don't think that's supposed to be frogs, because she doesn't turn into a frog in this one.
No.
The otter turns out to be Gracina's old lover, cursed by her witch mother. And Emma and Edric convince their respective parents that they found their true lover. The Grimm's version, however, has the princess befriending the frog, which in the original version has his curse broken when the princess throws him against the wall. But in the modern version, this was changed to a kiss. So Brothers Grimm was just like...
In the original, he was like, "Ooh, you have to kiss me," and she was like, "Ah!" Threw him against a wall, and then he was like, "Haha, I'm a human again, haha," and she's like, "Oh, now I'll kiss you, okay."
Yeah. I mean, isn't that basically what Tiana does?
Well, kind of. She smashes him with a book.
Yeah, exactly.
And then she, peels him off the book, and then he's, magically fine somehow.
I don't know.
Yeah. Also, in this one, Prince Naveen is from Maldonia, which I believe we're supposed to assume is, some sort of South Asian country.
It's South Asian.
Yeah.
A lot of people have been talking about that on the side of TikTok I'm on now.
Yeah, same.
Especially after the Funko Pop thing.
Yep. Yeah. Anyway, we're going to move on to another Brothers Grimm fairy tale. Also, my girl.
I love how this ended up happening, where we got to cover our favorite girls without, doing two in a row.
It. Yep. Let's go. So Tangled, like I said, another Brothers Grimm story. But it was titled Rapunzel, which is just her name. So like, they were just. This is when Disney was in their adjective phase.
Yes, because
Tangled,
it was Tangled,
Brave, Frozen.
Yeah.
So yeah, this was their adjective phase. So Tangled is a little. How do I want to put this? It's a lot different.
Yeah.
And the original story, I actually really like.
Honestly, same.
I think it's actually kind of cool. It's also the main plot of
Into the Woods.
Into the Woods. So, if you've seen that movie, you know the story. Let's go. So, in it, a pregnant woman experiences cravings of Rapunzel. Also, really quick, I used to read this original story a lot. Not like the one where she's like, not like the one at the end, but like the one where it's like the mom is pregnant and she wants the Rapunzel, and so it's a type of lettuce.
Yeah, I was about to say, isn't it like cabbage?
Yeah, or cabbage or something. And so the husband climbs over the wall and goes and picks him out of the witch's garden, and then the witch catches him, and she's like, you're stealing my cabbage and my greens. Greens, nothing but greens. Parsley, pepper, cabbages, and celery, and
the name Rapunzel is a girl's name meaning rampion. Which rampion is in that rap.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like a flower.
Oh, okay. Which makes sense about the golden flower. Okay.
It's a purple flower.
I see it now.
Hold on. You're
It's
not
a purple
gonna
flower? That is exactly what I would expect a Rapunzel flower to look like.
Yeah.
That really is a Rapunzel flower, the dangly one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, that's funny. Okay, so anyway, so the witch catches the husband, like I said, stealing like her greens and like her veggies, and she says, fine, you can take it back to your wife, but she wants the baby in exchange for her things, which like at that point, just take them out of your pockets, leave them there, and go. like no. So
She went to market the next day.
Yeah, like just go to the market. But no, he says, okay. And so he goes back home and he gives it to the wife. And then he has to tell the wife, oh yeah, by the way, we have to give the witch next door our baby. And like, I can't imagine that went over well. But anyway,
No.
So right, the witch names her Rapunzel because of the lettuce that the dad stole for the mom, and locks her in a tower. In this one, it's as soon as she turns 12, visiting her and standing beneath the tower, calling Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair. And, you know, then she climbs up the hair, and you're like, wow, how is that possible? But okay. So a prince riding through the forest then hears her beautiful singing voice and frequently begins to visit. The witch eventually finds out and casts Rapunzel out into the wilderness and cuts her hair off.
Yes.
So meanwhile, she confronts the prince with the hair from the tower, right? She's holding the hair out of the window, and she's like, oh, my prince, come. And so he starts climbing up the hair just like before, and she drops it, and he falls into these like rose bushes, and he's blind.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, I forgot to mention, Rapunzel's pregnant with twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's blind. She has these two babies now. And he eventually finds her in the forest because of, I don't know, I can't remember how, like he hears her singing voice.
Yeah.
It's not really mentioned, but like
that.
Yeah, like he hears her crying or her singing and like recognizes her, and then
I
she's
know
like,
that
oh,
in Into
my
the Woods
prince.
it's her like tears. Or,
Yeah,
like,
that
her
heal him.
weep. Well, no, that like her weeps that he hears to stumble upon her again.
Yeah, but she also heals him with her tears, which is like where the idea for the healing tears in the movie comes from.
Yeah.
But like, I don't actually know. Oh, yes, it does. Okay, the tears do restore his sight in the Grimm story too.
Yeah.
So yeah. So she has no hair, basically. She has two babies. And he's like kind of mauled from these rose bushes apparently, but like, I don't know. I'm like, how can rose bushes be that like, I don't know. That's like the one thing. The witch, fine. Rose bushes, That's where you get me.
Yeah.
Climbing up somebody's hair? Okay, whatever. That's the one thing that catches me.
Yeah.
Also, in the movie, he's played by, what's his name?
Zachary Levi.
Yeah.
So.
No, that's Flynn Rider, not Flynn Rider.
Who?
Into the Woods, the blonde guy.
Oh! I forget, but he's playing Joker right now in a podcast, origin story of it with Christina Ricci playing Harley Quinn. Oh my god, what the frick is his name? Because I was talking to Kara about it, because I was like, oh yeah, because she was telling me about this, audiobook kind of, podcast thing that's on Spotify about Batman stuff. And the same people are making a podcast thing about Harley Quinn's origin story, and he is the Joker in it.
It was Billy Magnuson.
Yes.
And Chris Pine played Cinderella's prince.
Yeah. And Billy Magnuson was in something else that I was like, it's the same. Oh, he was in Aladdin. He was the white guy in Aladdin, the new one.
Yes. He was freaking, what's his name?
The knockoff Prince Ahmed.
Yes. Yes, exactly. Him. So yeah, that's her story. I actually, believe it or not, I actually kind of really like this story.
Yeah.
I actually think it's kind of cool. But in a dark, kind of mysterious, cool way.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So the last one is, of course, Frozen, which came out in 2013?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. And it is by Hans Christian Andersen, as we said, and I guess I'll do my little fun facts before we get into what kind of inspired it. Which, if you hear Hans Christian Andersen, there are 4 Frozen characters whose names come from it. It's Hans, Kristoff, Anna, Sven.
Yeah, and if you say them fast, it sounds the same.
Hans Kristoff Annason.
Yeah.
Sure. But if you have seen, I think it was season 4 or 5 of Once Upon a Time, they use the plot of the Snow Queen, which is the original story that Frozen is very, very, very loosely based off of.
Very loosely.
As the overarching storyline.
Yeah.
And the original tale is told in 7 parts. And
Jesus!
And it depicts the story of 2 young children, Kai and Gerda. Gerda becomes Anna, of course, in this version. Or in the Frozen version. Who find their innocence and friendship put to the test after a mysterious visit from the story's ice-hearted monarch, who is the villain of the story, who is who Elsa became. And they keep Anna / Gerda's journey to the Snow Queen's castle intact, but it drastically changes many of the original story's subplots. The Snow Queen begins with the devil disguised as an evil troll who creates a mirror that distorts reality and later shatters into fragments of ice that plunge into the eyes and hearts of people.
Jesus Christ!
Which they use in Once Upon a Time.
Nice to know they kept the troll thing.
Yeah. In Once Upon a Time, they have the whole curse of that arc, for the Frozen arc, was the Snow Queen curse.
That's kind of cool.
And their aunt, who also has ice powers, uses it on Anna to capture Elsa, to be you see, Elsa, your sister did the same thing my sisters did to me. They betrayed me just like Anna did to you. But she's really using this distortion, make her evil thing.
That's weird.
And then they do it to the full town, and the only people that are unaffected is Emma Swan, Elsa, and Anna, because Anna's already been through it once.
Of course.
Well, because this is getting off a little tangent, but their aunt Ingrid had two sisters, and she was trying to make Elsa and Emma, who didn't believe like that they belonged in their families because powers and like differences because of powers. They were like, she was like, we'll be sisters now. Everyone will just like turn against each other.
Ooh.
Yeah. I like that arc for different reasons than the actual curse parts. I like who plays Anna. I don't even know her name. And her Kristoff and her have great chemistry, the two of them did.
That's always good.
Yeah.
I do like seeing them in the parks. I feel like they usually are pretty good in the parks.
Yeah, have you seen that one cruise line video of like her showing off the engagement ring and him being like, "Oh, thanks." Like,
yeah, that's cute.
So cute. But anyway, Kai is struck by these ice fragments which turn him cold and distant towards Gerda and makes him susceptible to the Snow Queen's persuasion. And although Kai is eventually saved from the ice that infects his heart, Kai is eventually saved. I think when I copied it over, it was comparing Frozen to the Snow Queen, so I think it was talking about Anna and Kai.
Yeah.
So Kai is eventually saved from the ice. Upon seeing her friend numb and near death, Gerda cries hot tears onto Kai, which melts the ice lodged in his heart and free him from the Snow Queen's enchantment. And by the end, Gerda and Elsa kind of discover that they had like life-saving graces all along.
So they kind of split her between the two.
Yeah. And also, there's a really bad animated, I forget what studio, but I had to make sure it wasn't just a fever dream of mine, but some random studio in like 2012, it looks like, made the Snow Queen into a movie, and their whole marketing was like based on the true story that Frozen was made out of.
That's cute. That's funny.
Wiz Art Animation was the name of the studio.
Put that link in there too.
Yeah. I remember watching it once because I was like confused when I saw it. But it came out the same year, or the year before Frozen, and they kind of like found out that Disney was making it. So then they were like, okay, we're gonna like... Oh, in the US it was released in 2013. So they were probably like, okay, let's like try to get this American audience to see this before
probably
they see Frozen. Is anyone of note in this film? No. I'm looking at this
highly doubt it.
No. No one. Interesting. But it is like such a fever dream. Honestly, Gerda kind of looks like Omega.
Aww.
Like the hair. It's the hair, I think. But yeah.
But yeah. And then Frozen turned into, well, Frozen.
Yeah.
And now it's like the biggest mega mini empire Disney owns.
Yeah.
Amongst all of the little girls.
Mm-hmm.
It's also one of the first Disney tales where, actually it's the only one where the main character doesn't find romance.
Yeah.
Well, one of them.
Well, yeah. The other one
And
does
she also
twice.
is the only person to become a queen.
Yeah.
In her main movie.
True,
so, like,
because like we get other ones that like become queens later on.
But like that's because they got married, but we don't actually see them as queen, right? Like we have Frozen 2, which is also like a part of this now.
Yeah.
It's not like the straight to DVD sequels. Straight to DVD sequels don't really count. Okay, so moving on. The Oscars are coming up.
Yeah.
And for this week's Fandom News, we're just gonna go through the nominations for this year.
Yeah, especially because we're gonna record again like later on this week. So like,
yeah,
I didn't
we're
want
literally
to
recording in 2 days.
Yeah. So I figured we would just go through all the Oscar nominations.
Yeah. So we got a lot. Also, my goal is to watch some of these because I have seen none.
I haven't seen any of them that are nominated for Best Picture this year.
I've seen not a one.
Yeah.
So
my friend keeps on telling me to watch one of them. So
same.
I wonder
is
if
it
it's
Everything
the same
Everywhere
one.
All at Once?
No, it's Elvis.
Oh.
My friend's
I've
a huge
also-
Elvis fan, and she keeps on yelling at me to watch it. And I'm like, you haven't seen any of the Spider-Man MCU films, so come at me when you've watched those.
Yeah. Good
I
call.
love you, Kristen.
It's Kristen?
It's Kristen!
Oh, girlfriend.
She's only seen the first one.
Oh, girl. No.
She and I are going to go, well, I'm going to go over to her and her husband's apartment, and we're going to watch them all, because I found out with my Amazon Student Prime membership, I get all the Spider-Man films.
Yes.
So that'll soon be solved once midterms are done, like in the next 2 weeks.
Yay.
But anyway, the movies nominated for Best Picture are All Quiet on the Western Front, Avatar: The Way of Water, The Banshees of Inisherin, Elvis, Everything Everywhere All at Once, The Fabelmans, another movie people have been telling me to watch, Tar, Top Gun Maverick,
That's
Triangle.
another one.
Yeah, Triangle of Sadness, and Women Talking. What I've heard about The Fabelmans is it's like it's almost like a biography by Sondheim about his life, but he uses different names.
Cool. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
The movies nominated for Best Director
Or not Sondheim.
are...
Spielberg.
Oh, that makes a lot more sense. I was like,
That's
okay.
definitely what I meant. Sorry, I found Snow Queen free on YouTube.
She found it, you
Officially.
guys. She found it. Movies nominated for Best Director are... Watch, now we're gonna put this in our like links, and all of a sudden it's gonna be like, why after all these years all of a sudden are we getting all these random hits? What the heck is going
It has
on?
96,000 likes on YouTube. More people remember this movie besides me. I feel validated.
There we go. Emma's validated. So the movies nominated for Best Director are Martin McDonagh for The Banshees of Inisherin, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinhardt for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Steven Spielberg for The Fabelmans, Todd Field for Tar, and Ruben Östlund for Triangle of Sadness.
I definitely did not change things after the movies nominated, so I almost messed that up. The people nominated for Best Actor are Austin Butler for Elvis, Colin Farrell for The Banshees of Inisherin, Brendan Fraser for The Whale, Paul Mescal for After Sun, and Bill Nye for Living.
That definitely... Oh my gosh, that is definitely Bill Nye.
Yeah.
I thought I said Bill Knight, and I was like, I don't think it's Bill Nye the Science Guy. Like, no, it's not Bill Nye the Science Guy.
No, it's Rufus Scrimgeour, I'm pretty sure is who he played in Harry Potter.
Of course he did. And I'm
I
over
just
here
did
thinking
Harry
it's
Potter
like,
trivia and I got one question wrong, and I'm still mad.
Of course I'm over here thinking it's like, Bill.
No, because
Bill,
that's
Bill,
N-Y-E,
Bill.
not
Yeah, this is
N-I-G-H-Y.
N-I-G-H-Y.
Yeah, the guy in Love Actually.
There's
in
a
Love
lot of
Actually.
guys in Love, actually.
Okay, well, he's in Love Actually, so I just want to say that. Who is he in
Okay.
Love Actually?
Huh?
He's Billy Mack in Love Actually. I don't know which one that is.
I've seen that movie all of 2 times. I don't remember anybody's name.
He's
There's
also
too many
Davy
characters.
Jones in Pirates of the Caribbean, and Rufus Scrimgeour in Harry
Oh.
Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
Okay. Now I have some context. Got it. So, movies nominated for Best Actress, people nominated for Best Actress are Cate Blanchett for Tar, Ana de Armas for Blonde. Ooh, I heard that one was good too. Andrea Roseborough to Leslie, Michelle Williams for The Fablemans, Leah Yo for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I thought it was Michelle Yeoh.
What did I say?
Leah.
Shit, sorry. Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Which I'm pretty sure she's in,
Crazy Rich Asians.
besides that. I'm thinking of someone else.
Shang-Chi.
Never mind, I'm thinking of someone else. I'm thinking of the supporting actress nominee from that movie, or one of the two.
Oh. Is it Michelle Yeoh in Crazy Rich Asians, though?
Yeah, she is, and she's also in Shang-Chi, and she'll be in the Wicked movie.
Yeah.
She's the aunt in Crazy Rich Asians. Or no, in Shang-Chi, she's the aunt.
Yeah,
She's
in
the
Crazy
mom
Rich Asians, she's the mom. Yeah.
Yeah. And then she'll be Madame Morrible in the Wicked movie.
Yeah.
So the actors nominated for Best Supporting Actor are Brendan Gleeson for The Banshees of Inisherin, Brian Tyree Henry for Causeway, Jude Hirsch for Fablemans, Barry Cogan for Banshees of Inisherin, and Ki Ha Quinn for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
The actresses nominated for Best Supporting Actress are Angela Bassett for Black Panther Wakanda.
Oh.
Let me try that whole thing again.
Okay.
The people nominated for Best Supporting Actress are Angela Bassett for Black Panther Wakanda Forever. Well deserved.
Yes.
Hong Chow for The Whale. Carrie Condon for The Banshees of Inisherin. Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once. Again, deserved.
Yeah.
At least from what I've seen.
Yeah.
At least from what I've seen, everybody's like, oh my god, yes, Jamie Lee Curtis. And then Stephanie Sue for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Which she's the one I was thinking of. She was in Be More Chill on Broadway and off-Broadway, and she's also in Marvelous Miss Maisel.
Ah.
She's the girlfriend.
Yes. Joel's girlfriend, May.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which that was her first, like, filmed role that wasn't, like, on stage.
Yeah. She's good. I like her.
Yeah. I do, too. Congratulations.
Yeah, good for her.
So, the movies and writers nominated for Best Writing Adapted Screenplay are Edward Berger, Leslie Patterson, and Ian Stokell for All Quiet on the Western Front, Ryan Johnson for Glass Onion, Knives Out Mystery, Zhao Ishiguro for Living, Aaron Kruger, Eric Warren Singer, and Christopher McQuarrie, story by Peter Craig and Justin Marks for Top Gun Maverick, and Sarah Polley for Women Talking.
The movies nominated for Best Writing Original Screenplay are Martin McDonagh for The Banshees of Inisherin, Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinhardt for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Steven Spielberg and Tony Kushner for The Fablemans, Todd Field for Tar, and Ruben Östlund for Triangle of Sadness.
The movies nominated for Best Animated Feature are Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, Puss in Boots, The Last Wish, The Sea Beast, and Turning Red.
I didn't know Marcel the Shell was nominated.
I didn't see that.
Have you seen this guy? He's so cute.
I have only seen one of the films on this list, and it's the Disney one.
Turning Red?
Yeah. It's the
Look at
only
this guy.
Disney one on this list.
Look how cute. I just Hold on. I'm showing you. Hold on.
Okay, I just allowed you. I've seen it. I haven't watched it yet.
He's so cute. I didn't know you got nominated. Go Marcel. Now I really want him to win.
I feel like it's either gonna go to the Pinocchio or Turning Red.
Oh, you know it is. He's so
Or
small.
Puss in Boots. I feel like Puss in Boots, like, everyone's been talking about recently.
Honestly, it's probably just our generation because of the nostalgia.
True.
Like, Jenny Slate was in it, or part of it.
Okay. Cute.
I love this little guy.
But I
so
feel like
much.
it's going to be turning red.
Yeah, you're probably right. Disney always sweeps.
Yeah. Well, they made this category after because of Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. I mean, Beauty and the Beast was up against Silence of the Lambs. Let's be honest here.
Yeah.
I mean, Anthony Hopkins versus Beauty and the Beast.
True.
I mean, you can't compare Silence of the Lambs to Beauty and the Beast. They're like incomparable.
No.
They're so
Yeah.
vastly different.
Yeah. Sorry, B-roll went off like 30 minutes ago, so I'm gonna do that now. Okay, it's blurry.
Okay.
There we go.
The movies nominated for Best International Feature Film are All Quiet on the Western Front, Argentina 1985, Close, EO, and The Quiet Girl.
The movies nominated for Best Documentary Feature are All That Breathes, All the Beauty and the Bloodshed, Fire of Love, A House Made of Splinters, and Navalny.
The movies nominated for Best Film Editing are Mikhail E.G. Nelson for The Banshees of Inisherin, Matt Villa and Jonathan Redmond for Elvis, Paul Rogers for Everything Everywhere All at Once, Monica Willie for Tar, Eddie Hamilton for Top Gun Maverick.
The movies nominated for Best Cinematography are James Friend for All Quiet on the Western Front, Darius Kanji, Bardo, False Chronicle of a Handful of Truths, Mandy Walker, Elvis, Roger Deakins for Empire of Light, and Florian Hofmeister for Tar.
The movies nominated for Best Costume Design are Mary Zofris for Babylon, Ruth E. Carter for Black Panther, Wakanda Forever.
Deserved.
I want her to win.
Same.
Catherine Martin for Elvis, Shirley Kutara for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and Jenny Beavan for Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris.
Let's be honest. It's gonna either go to Black Panther or Elvis.
Oh, yeah.
Because they like to do it for the historical films.
Yeah. I really wanted to go to Wakanda Forever, though. The costumes
Same.
are immaculate. Everything
Yeah.
Angela Bassett wears, I'm like, if it wasn't cultural appropriation, if I could wear that, I would wear it.
Yeah. The movies nominated for Best Makeup and Hairstyling are Heike Merker and Linda Eisenhomrova for
Thank
All
you for
Quiet.
not giving me that one.
Yeah. All Quiet on the Western Front. Naomi Doan, Mike Mariano, and Mike Fontaine for The Batman. Camille Friend and Joel Harlow for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, also deserved. Mark Kohler, Jason Bard, and Aldo Signorati for Elvis, and Adrian Morat, Judy Chen, and Anne-Marie Bradley for The Whale.
The movie's not...
Have you heard anything about The Whale? Because I know that what's-her-face from Stranger Things is in it, the redhead. Sadie Sink?
Yeah, no, I've heard nothing.
Okay. I forget the plot, but I've read it once, and I was like, interesting. I don't know if I'd go out of my way to see this.
Yeah. I know people who, like, as soon as they come out, they start watching every single movie. And I'm like, this is a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, movies nominated for Best Production Design are Christian M. Goldbeck and Ernestine Hipper for All Quiet on the Western Front, Dylan Cole, Ben Proctor, and Vanessa Cole for Avatar: The Way of Water, Florencia Martin and Anthony Carlino for Babylon, Catherine Martin, Karen Murphy, and Bev Dunn for Elvis, Rick Carter and Karen O'Hara for The Fabelmans.
The movies nominated for Best Music Original Song are Applause from Tell It Like a Woman, music and lyrics by Diane Warren. Hold My Hand from Top Gun Maverick, music and lyrics by Lady Gaga and Blood Pop. Lift Me Up from Black Panther Wakanda Forever, music and lyrics by Thames, Rihanna, Ryan Coogler, and Ludwig Göransson.
And that song is the reason why Rihanna's performing at the Super Bowl this year.
Really?
I have no idea, but in my opinion, it is.
Did you see that there's a mom whose sons are on the opposite teams playing at the Super Bowl this year? So there's a petition going out for her
to have her do the coin flip. Yes.
Natu Natu from RRR, music by M.M. Keeravani and lyrics by Chandra Bose. And This Is Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once, music by Ryan Lott, David Byrne, and Metzke, lyrics by Ryan Lott.
Honestly, I don't think Hold My Hand should have been the choice for Top Gun Maverick.
No.
I think I Ain't Worried is much more popular.
Yeah,
and it's a better song.
Yeah. And sometimes the studio is like, let's do this song.
Yeah.
When it's not even like the real big one. I mean, I think back to Encanto and it being Surface Pressure and not
Dos Oruguitas?
We don't talk about Bruno.
Oh, that too.
Or it was it was that one.
It was Dos Oruguitas.
Yeah, it wasn't Surface Pressure. It was that one over We Don't Talk About Bruno.
Which, like, nobody could have known.
The studios choose.
Yeah, but they choose way in advance. They don't really know. They just kind of guess.
Yeah.
So, like, that's, like, the story with Encanto. I remember reading about it. It's like they said that, like, this is what we thought. This is, like, the most well-composed song out of it. And this is, like, the most competitive song.
Yeah.
As far as popularity goes, Bruno beat it out by a long shot.
Yeah.
Because it's a fun song versus, you know, a really sad
song.
Did
you watch the Encanto concert?
Yes, and why is everybody in costume except for Luisa?
I don't know. Also, the creepy donkeys.
Donkeys?
I was creeped out by them, and no one was talking about how creepy they were, and I thought I was overreacting.
I could not stop laughing. I didn't think they were creepy. I just thought it was a little ridiculous.
No, I thought they were real creepy. I hated them. I skipped through most of that song because I hated the donkeys. And then they came back with stupid, like, birds and stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I don't like this.
The movies nominated for Best Music Original Score are Volker Bartleman for All Quiet on the Western Front, Justin Hurwitz for Babylon, Carter Burwell for The Banshees of Inisherin, Sun Lux for Everything Everywhere All at Once, and John Williams for The Fabelmans.
Yeah. The movies nominated for Best Sound are Victor Prazel, Frank Cruz, Marcus Stemler, Lars Ginzel, and Stefan Court for All Quiet on the Western Front, Julian Howarth, Gwendolyn Yates-Whittle, Dick Bernstein, Christopher Boyes, Gary Summers, and Michael Hedges for Avatar: The Way of the Water, Stuart Wilson, William Files, Douglas Murray, and Andy Nelson for The Batman. Honestly, out of all of these, I kind of hope The Batman wins this one. David Lee, Wayne Pashley, Andy Nielsen, and Michael Keller for Elvis, and Mark Weingarten, James H. Mather, Al Nelson, Chris Burden, and Mark Taylor for Top Gun Maverick.
The movies nominated for Best Visual Effects are Frank Petzold, Victor Muller, Marcus Frank, and Camille Jafar for All Quiet on the Western Front, Joe Letteri, Richard Banham, Eric Standen, and Daniel Barrett for Avatar: The Way of Water, Dan Lemon, Russell Earl, Anders Leglands, and Dominic Toohey for The Batman, Jeffrey Bonham, Craig Hammack, R. Christopher White, and Dan Studick for Black Panther Wakanda Forever, Ryan Tudhope, Seth Hill, Brian Lidston, and Scott R. Fisher for Top Gun Maverick. I think they should hire us.
Two of those with water.
Huh?
It's going to one of the two with water, so Black Panther or Avatar.
Yeah, probably. I think they should hire us to do the readings. Yes. I think we should read the nominees like on the Oscars. They'll be like, and for the category of da 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 da. Like that should be us.
Yes.
I think we're really good at this.
Nominations for Best Animated Short Film are The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, The Flying Sailor, Ice Merchants, My Year of Dicks, and An Ostrich Told Me the World is Fake, and I Think I Believe It.
The movies nominated for Best Live Action Short Film are An Irish Goodbye, Ivalu, Le Pupille, Night Ride, and The Red Suitcase.
The movies nominated for Best Documentary Short Film are The Elephant Whisperers, Hall Lot, How Do You Measure a Year, The Martha Mitchell Effect, and Stranger at the Gate.
I know how you measure a year.
In
525,600 minutes.
We did different parts of that song.
Same song, different verses, different sections.
Yeah. Shall we get into the outro?
Yeah. I mean, do you have anything else to say about the Oscars? Because I sure don't. I haven't seen any of these movies except for one.
I've seen The Batman. I've seen Black Panther Wakanda Forever.
That's it. For me.
And Turning Red.
Yep. You got one up on me.
I got 2 up on you because I've seen The Batman.
Oh yeah, you got 2. Yep. So, I don't know. I have literally 0 opinions.
Yeah, I liked Turning Red. I don't know if it should be the one that wins, but I think it's going to be the one that wins.
Probably. Everything I've seen says it's like so revolutionary and blah blah blah. So breaks the Disney mold or whatever.
It was the director's first film.
Yeah.
She had only been given one project beforehand with Disney, and that was that little Bow short.
I loved that one.
Yeah, she's the director behind that. And then
everybody
they were like,
loved
after
that one.
Yeah, they were like, after that Bow short that everyone loved, you get a feature film now.
That's a big jump.
Yeah. But that's pretty much what happened with her. I like the Batman. But
that's it.
For the, like, I think if we're gonna judge it on, like, the categories it is in, it's not gonna win any of them besides maybe Best Sound. Because the sound design was crazy for that.
Probably. I believe that. I don't know. I just think Wakanda should win everything that it's nominated for. That movie was fantastic. I loved that movie.
Which, they were not nominated for Best Sound.
Best movie.
So.
I know. And they weren't nominated for Best Picture, which I was like, what?
So you have seen Black Panther Wakanda Forever?
Yeah.
That end credit scene, though.
I don't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Shall we see them in the outro?
Yeah.
Since it is 12:30 my time?
Yeah, let's let you go to bed.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Fairytales. We are a proud part of the Real Fans Podcast Network.
That's right, and if you'd like to check out more shows on the network, you can find them at rf4rm.com.
So next week we will be talking about both versions of Lady and the Tramp, the 1950s and then the 2019 version, for a very special Valentine's Day episode.
Remember to subscribe to us wherever you get your podcasts.
And subscribe to us on YouTube.
Please leave us a review and comment down below to tell us what you thought of the show. And remember to follow us on Instagram and Twitter at FanFatalesPod for the latest updates. Now, Emma, where can the people find you on social media?
So my Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter are all at Snippy Emma, which is SNIPPYEMMA. What about you, Gabs?
and at Gabby Gent on pretty much everything. That's going to be GABYJENT.
Our editing is by the wonderful Carol Insmeyer.
And as always, thanks for tuning in.
Bye!
These are for